Yeah, here, let's watch. I think I did look at this one already. Yeah, that's the one. This is the one with the crazy shockwave. And this is just crazy. Look, there's no way that this can be anything. Whew, man, that's just out of control. Now, same one, giving you guys different views of it. Whew, man, that is huge. This one's interesting. Now, watch the way that this cloud looks. This is one of the images that's circulating. It's really odd. Right there. Weird. Right there is when he starts jumping away, so it gets a little sporadic. But to say here, I'm going to jump ahead real quick and show you that Israel used a very similar looking bomb in Syria last year. It's some type of new thermobaric weapon. Now, it's obviously, there's plenty of bombs you could probably find that would look similar, but understand that this is that, and that is what it looks like. As well as the fact that we've been seeing these test explosions, like similar things, these kind of maybe mini nuke type look actions that happened in Palestine or all in Yemen. We've already reported on these things. Now, people try to pretend like any number of these things are just crazy conspiracy theory, except that they're not, and it's very easy to verify. So as we're seeing this happen, as Israel's been attacking Lebanon, and as they're involved, and as all these things, you got to begin to put things together, especially when you realize that, oh, wait a minute, the Kataeb party leader was just killed in that explosion. Oh, you mean the leader of the group that they've been openly going after in Iraq and Syria for the last 6 months to a year? Yep, that guy. So let's pretend like that is just a happy coincidence. Okay, now it says, Najarian, probably ruining his name, the Secretary General of Lebanon's Kataeb political party, has died after being critically injured as a result of the blasts. Now, it says the Lebanese authorities have already ruled out an initial theory that the blast was caused by the fireworks and the fire. Now, it says that they've compared the scope of the incident to the 1945 atomic bombing of Hiroshima. That's crazy. And this gets even more interesting when you find out something else. Well, first of all, as Syrian Girl puts it, and she's right, the Lebanese are denying that Israelis are behind this. Now we're talking about the leadership, right? And this is exactly what I would think in the same case. It's also why you see things that happen like this in, let's say, Syria, where instead of absolutely calling them out, or even Russia more specifically, they play it as if it's not as definitive, because if you say they did it and we know it, well, then your people want you to respond, and it's not politically good for them in that moment. And right now, if Lebanon decided to attack Israel or do anything in that nature, the United States and Israel would demolish them and invade their country. That's what would happen right now. They know this. Now it says, I mean, who knows if that's exactly what happened, but you get the point. They would take action against them. The Lebanese are denying that Israelis are behind this because they'd have to answer to it. The Israel bombing in Syria and Iran are not a coincidence. That is my analysis. But stick your heads in the sand if you prefer. Those were some fireworks, right? Well, this gets even more interesting when you find out, oh, wait a minute. Oh, you mean that the Israeli Defense Forces had acknowledged that exact location as somewhere where Iran was doing things? Weird. Let's pretend like that doesn't mean anything. Here's another one. Same thing. This location right down here in the bottom, right there. That is where we're talking about. That is right here. And that is the port, and that is the site of the explosion. Okay, so if the IDF was calling this out as a location of Iranian activity, and that they were recently bombing Lebanon, personally, this doesn't prove that they did something, but how is it that we can have an entire media apparatus supposed to be journalists and with investigative theories, and all they can say is, well, look, we saw some fireworks in the smoke, so then it was fireworks. End of story. Case closed. Journalism, right? No, how about we do a little bit of research and find out that, well, it's pretty clear that Israel has been focusing on this location. I mean, it becomes almost frustrating to see how willing people are to ignore what's in front of them, to not have to address the reality of the situation, which is just, that might as well be the tagline for our political system in this country. As Israel Girl points out, one doesn't want to talk about who's done this yet, but Israeli jets have been hovering these skies for the last 2 months now, according to one journalist in Beirut. Now, as Whitney pointed out, this is one I kind of skipped over a moment ago, if you think this explosion was caused by grain dust or fireworks, which is the narrative circulating with this, perhaps you believe that the World Trade Center Building 7 collapsed into its footprint in 7 seconds and was caused by office fires, even after its owner, Larry Silverstein, said that they were made the call to pull it. I mean, just look at this video. I mean, it's so incredibly obvious that this is an crazy, some kind of thermo, I don't even want to guess. This is a huge explosion with a shockwave, and this is in an area that's been under attack. This is an attack. That's my take on it. This is an ongoing, continued effort to bomb Syria, to bomb Palestine, to go after Iran, to go after everybody, anywhere under the guy.